The examination chamber materialized around Leo with a shimmer of azure light. He blinked, his human eyes adjusting to the alien sun that hung like a bloated orange in the purple sky. Around him, the landscape stretched endlessly, a wilderness of crystalline forests and obsidian plains, beautiful and utterly hostile. Elsa watched from the observation deck of the Galactic Academy, her fingers drumming nervously against the transparent aluminum viewport. Below, Leo appeared as a small figure on the massive holographic display, surrounded by terrain that had claimed the lives of 17 candidates this cycle alone. Another human. First observer Krell clicked his mandibles dismissively. The insectoid academic had seen thousands of species attempt the survival certification, and humans were, in his compound eyes, unremarkable. Fragile. Slow. No natural weapons. No armor plating. No venom sacs. "He'll surprise you," Elsa said quietly, though her heart hammered against her ribs. She had faith in Leo, but faith didn't deflect claws or synthesize nutrients from toxic flora. The examination was simple in concept, nightmarish in execution. 72 hours on designation Kepler 442b, a planet whose ecosystem had been designed by the Academy's finest xenobiologists to be universally challenging. Build shelter, find food, avoid the apex predators. 3 tasks that seemed elementary until one faced the reality of alien biology, incompatible chemistry, and creatures evolved to kill with terrifying efficiency. Leo crouched low, his human brain already processing the environment with that peculiar pattern recognition that his species had honed over millions of years. The crystalline trees were sharp, potentially useful. The ground was hard-packed, good for foundations. The air smelled of ozone and something organic, something that suggested water nearby. Hour 1. While other species might have panicked or relied on their natural advantages, Leo did something characteristically human. He improvised. Using rocks, he chipped away at the crystal trees, fashioning crude tools. His hands, those remarkable 5-fingered manipulators, worked with dexterity that made Krell's mandibles twitch with grudging interest. "He's making tools," the observer muttered, "from materials he encountered 30 minutes ago." Elsa smiled. By hour 6, Leo had constructed a shelter. Not just a hiding spot or a burrow, but an actual structure. Walls angled to deflect wind, a roof woven from flexible crystal shards and broad leaves, a fire pit dug into the ground. He had studied the sun's trajectory and positioned the entrance eastward, maximizing morning warmth. "The structural engineering is adequate," Krell admitted, "but he's burned considerable energy. He needs food." The planet's flora was toxic to most carbon-based life forms. The Academy had ensured that. But Leo didn't just taste random plants, he observed. He watched which fruits the small crystal beetles consumed. He noted which leaves showed signs of being grazed. Then, with careful experimentation, he used fire, that ancient human discovery, to break down compounds rendering the toxic alkaloids inert. "He's chemically altering his food sources," a junior observer gasped, "using combustion as a processing tool." Elsa's smile widened. "That's what we do." By hour 20, Leo had a sustainable food source, a weatherproof shelter, and something else, an understanding of the ecosystem's rhythms. He had observed the apex predators from a distance. The Krell cats, as he privately named them, were 6-legged crystalline panthers with serrated claws and intelligence that glinted in their multifaceted eyes. They were perfect killers, evolved over millions of years to dominate Kepler 442b. Most candidates spent the remaining time hiding, praying the predators wouldn't detect them. Leo did something different. He began leaving food scraps near his shelter, small portions at first, placed strategically downwind. The Krell cats investigated, cautiously, their predatory instincts warring with curiosity. Leo never approached when they fed. He simply provided. "What is he doing?" Krell demanded, his voice rising in pitch. "He's attracting the apex predators. This is suicide." "Watch," Elsa whispered. By hour 40, the Krell cats had established a pattern. They came at dusk, accepted the offerings, and gradually approached closer. Leo never made direct eye contact, a threatening gesture in countless species. He moved slowly, predictably, non-threateningly. He spoke to them in low tones, meaningless words that nonetheless conveyed calmness. The turning point came at hour 56. A juvenile Krell cat, smaller and bolder than its elders, approached Leo's shelter. Its crystalline hide was marred by a deep gash, likely from a territorial dispute. The creature limped, vulnerable, and Leo saw not a predator, but an injured animal. He had prepared a poultice from processed plant matter, the same anti-inflammatory compounds he'd isolated for his own minor cuts. Slowly, agonizingly slowly, Leo extended his hand. The Krell cat's eyes fixed on him, calculating. Then, perhaps sensing no threat, it allowed him to approach. The observation deck fell silent as Leo cleaned and dressed the wound with materials from his environment. The juvenile Krell cat rumbled, not a growl, but something almost like a purr. Impossible, Krell breathed. By hour 72, when the examination concluded and the extraction beam illuminated Leo's shelter, he was not alone. 3 Krell cats lounged around his fire, accepting food from his hands. The juvenile slept with its head resting near Leo's leg. The apex predators of Kepler 442b, creatures designed to be untamable, had been gentled by the same process humans had employed for thousands of years: patience, food, mutual benefit, and compassion. The transport beam lifted Leo back to the academy. The Krell cats watched him go with what might have been confusion or, impossibly, sadness. Elsa met him at the arrival platform, throwing her arms around him as the assembled faculty stared in stunned silence. "How?" Krell demanded, his scientific mind reeling. "How did a species with no claws, no armor, no natural advantages, not only survive but domesticate the planet's apex predators in 72 hours? Leo smiled tiredly, his human face dirty but triumphant. "We've been doing it for 40,000 years, observer. Wolves became dogs. Wild cats became companions. Even birds of prey learned to hunt with us. It's not about being the strongest or the fastest." He looked directly at the insectoid academic. "It's about being adaptable, patient, and understanding that cooperation beats competition, every time." Elsa squeezed his hand, pride radiating from her. "Humanity doesn't just survive hostile environments," she said softly, addressing the assembly. "We make them home, and we make allies of everything we meet, even the things designed to kill us." The holographic display still showed Kepler 442b, where 3 Krell cats sat around a dying fire, waiting for the strange bipedal creature who had somehow spoken to something ancient in their predatory hearts. Leo had passed the examination. But more than that, he had demonstrated why humanity, despite all its physical limitations, had earned its place among the stars. They didn't just survive. They transformed, they befriended, they endured, and they never, ever gave up. End.